Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. Now, you might think the penny is just some tiny, nearly worthless piece of metal, but believe me, its story is anything but ordinary. We'll be exploring its fascinating history, the role it plays in the economy today, and the surprising value of some rare pennies you could have in your change jar. So, let's get started. The story of the 1-cent coin begins in the late 18th century, at a time when the United States was a fledgling nation, still in the process of defining itself. After gaining independence, the new U.S. government realized it needed a standardized currency system to unite the states. In 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act, establishing the U.S. Mint. This marked the beginning of American coinage, and among the first coins produced was the 1-cent piece. In 1793, the first 1-cent coin was produced, and it was vastly different from the pennies we know today. The coin was made of pure copper and was large and heavy. The first 1-cent coin, known as the chain cent, featured 15 links in a chain, symbolizing the original 13 colonies, and the word liberty above it. It was a bold start for what would become a coin with a rich history. However, the chain cent didn't last long. The coin was redesigned after just 1 year due to issues with its manufacturing, and a new design emerged, known as the wreath cent, which was smaller and more practical. From there, the 1-cent coin continued to evolve, both in design and material, reflecting the growing changes in the United States. In the mid-1800s, the mint began experimenting with different styles and compositions, and by 1856, the Flying Eagle cent was introduced. The Flying Eagle cent, which was minted from 1856 to 1858, featured an eagle in flight on the obverse side. This coin marked a new era for the 1-cent piece, making it smaller and more streamlined than previous versions. After a brief run, the Flying Eagle was replaced by the Indian head cent in 1859, which became an iconic symbol of U.S. coinage. The Indian head cent is perhaps one of the most beloved versions of the 1-cent coin. Featuring Lady Liberty wearing a headdress, the coin was in circulation for over 50 years, becoming a symbol of the American frontier and industrialization. But it wasn't just about looks. There were some significant changes in materials as well. In the 1860s, the U.S. Mint transitioned to using a copper-nickel alloy for the Indian head cents due to the increasing cost of copper during the Civil War. This was the start of the penny we recognize today. Then, in 1909, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, a design that has remained unchanged, except for the reverse side. For more than a century. In 1909, the U.S. Mint honored President Abraham Lincoln by putting his likeness on the obverse of the penny. This was the first time a president's image appeared on a U.S. coin. The reverse of the coin initially featured 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the agricultural foundation of America, and became known as the wheat penny. The Lincoln cent would go on to become a staple in American currency, remaining in circulation for more than 50 years. However, in 1959, the design was changed to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and the reverse was replaced with the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which stayed on the penny until 2008. Then, in 2009, in honor of Lincoln's 200th birthday, the U.S. Mint issued 4 special reverse designs, each depicting a different phase of Lincoln's life: his log cabin in Indiana, his time as a young lawyer, his presidency, and his memorial in Washington, D.C. By 2010, however, the penny's reverse design became the shield cent, which is the version still in use today. This coin features a shield, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States, along with the inscription E pluribus unum, out of many. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1-cent coin today. While the penny's purchasing power has dramatically decreased over the years, it remains a crucial part of the U.S. economy, especially for small transactions. While most people may view the penny as practically worthless, it still plays an important role in everyday purchases. But did you know that the cost of producing a penny is higher than its face value? Yes, that's right. In 2023, it cost the U.S. Mint about 2.1 cents to make each penny. That means the U.S. government loses money on every penny it produces. But despite these costs, the penny remains in circulation, partly because of tradition and the small role it still plays in everyday cash transactions. Now here's the real surprise: not all pennies are worth just 1 cent. Some pennies are worth thousands, and even milli. One of the most famous rare pennies is the 1943 copper penny. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched to using steel to make pennies in order to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a small number of copper pennies were accidentally struck that year, making them extremely rare. These 1943 copper pennies are worth over $1 million today, depending on their condition. And then, there's the 1909 SVDB penny, another rare treasure. This penny, featuring the initials of its designer, Victor David Brenner, can also fetch thousands of dollars if you have a good one. Other rare pennies include the 1955 double-dyed penny, the 1922 no-D penny, and the 1877 Indian head cent, all of which can fetch hefty sums in the right condition. So, before you toss your spare change in the jar, you might want to take a closer look. You could be sitting on a SMA, so what's next for the 1-cent coin? Will it eventually be phased out, like the penny was in Canada back in 2013? Some people say the penny has outlived its usefulness, while others argue it's too ingrained in American culture to let go. While there's no immediate plan to retire the penny, discussions about its future continue. With digital payments on the rise, the penny's role in cash transactions is diminishing, and some lawmakers have called for its elimination due to the high cost of production. But for now, the penny remains part of the fabric of American currency. Whether it stays or goes, it's clear that the 1-cent coin has a history worth remembering.